Hello everybody and welcome back to Rebellious Menstruation. This is a review of GladRags. I've done a review of GladRags before, and I do still have some of the previous GladRags that I had. I'll link that video somewhere in here so you can go have a look. It was these two flower designs. This is an organic cotton pad. I think this is one of my original ones, and this one is one of this set. GladRags is a US company. It was founded in 1993, is still women owned, and they are located in Portland, Oregon. I'm sure that's of no surprise to anyone. And sorry, vagued out there for a second. They obviously have a significant amount of variety of pads, and you can also get a free panty liner if you are new and haven't used them before from their website. So if you go to their US website, you can actually get a free panty liner, which is pretty good if you're making another order anyway. And obviously they are also so these are owned and made in the USA. They ship in recycled packaging as well. I got this from an Australian reseller because of the trade issues that are happening worldwide at the moment. So these are designed that you actually have like a base pad. So this is how the large ones are designed, and you have these little inserts that in this case of this one go in here. This is their little care label that is on them. I usually would remove these but obviously without reviewing them, I usually tend to try and keep them on. So this is how they are. So that's the big one. The smaller ones are designed so this is just like a empty shell, and then you can put the center ones in. So this pad came with two, and this pad came with two. That matches the design, and it's the same as this one. So this is the next size up. And again, empty shell, care tag, and then two inserts outside, two inserts, empty shells. So they're how they're designed, which is different than an all-in-one pad. From what I can gather, these were quite a regular style when the company was founded back in '93, is to have this kind of more of an assemblage type of period of product. And then obviously this is kind of how they've maintained their design. They do have a variety of more patterns as well, and it looks like I'm going to have to change the battery on my camera, so I'll come back and continue. Okay, and we're back after a battery charge. I did find one of the booklets that I kept to do this review, ironically enough, and it just has the instructions in English and French, I would say. GladRags, it has the GladRags family, which include panty liners in regular, plus and thong, day pads in regular and plus, and night pads in regular and plus. It says go to their website to find out more information about it with their QR code. Oh, it's in Spanish. There we go. Can't believe I can't recognize Spanish. Anyway, and so it just has how to use, how to wear it in your underwear, how to clean it, machine wash in cold, line dry. Don't ever use fabric softener, of course, because fabric softener reduces your the fabric's capacity to absorb, which is why you shouldn't really use it on sheets or towels either, and degrades your clothes. So probably just don't use fabric softener. So yes, this is you can always come back and pause it or just go to their website and have a look at what is going on here. So look, the patterns are pretty bland, but that's fine. Generally, what will happen with a at-home cloth pad maker is that they will, of course, get like fabric that has patterns or designs on them, like from movies or, universes, and make cloth pads and sell them. A company doesn't necessarily have that privilege without paying for stuff, the rights to the design, whereas you could probably get away with it a bit more for personal use in it's already on the fabric. So these are designs from GladRags, except for this. Obviously this cotton one is just outright cotton. This design is fine, but of course it makes it really super bulky when you have these in there. So with kind of other styles with all-in-one cloth pad styles, they're much thinner, and they have the capacity to be much thinner because of the way that they are designed. This doesn't, and it is noticeable, particularly if this is the only type of cloth pad you've used, you don't know any other way. So as a consequence, it probably wouldn't bother you if this is the only type of cloth pad you used. Because I started on all-in-one cloth pads, because that's where I've kind of had most of my experience in all-in-ones, the thickness was even my heavy pads usually aren't this thick, and that's just because you can add these. This outer layer, or this shell, isn't designed to stop any of the flow, obviously, because of the inserts. So as a kind of consequence, even as a liner without any inserts, they're not kind of absorbent. They're made to pass through things. So they're made to be passed through. So this shell by itself is made to only work with these inserts. But when you're adding multiple inserts, it just makes it thicker and bulkier, which is just something that I don't love about the design. It is made, I suppose, to be more convenient in the sense that you can actually have one in there, or two in there, or three in there. You could probably put another 3 or 4 in there. Obviously this is one size that I have. These two little ones fit in, actually a bit too small for this, but these ones can be interchanged as well. So as long as you have the inserts, you can interchange them and put 3 or 4 in if you're on a super heavy day. But that would just mean you're wearing a really, really bulky cloth pad, where you could get an all-in-one for thinner. That would do just as an effective job. So I think that the thickness did bother me. And of course, because this is a shell, I tend to be a center bleeder, and of course it kind of like seeps this way as well, so isn't as look, I change frequently enough for it not to be a problem, so it's not like it's actually going to be something that actually super affects me. But well, it does affect me, but it's not like I'm going to leak. But I can come over the side here because I'm such a center bleeder that I kind of go this way, and there's because of the way these are, there's blood coming down these side bits and around the inserts. So it's not as effective as containing my center flow as other cloth pads are, just because the all-in-ones will have this kind of center sewn in, whereas these inserts can move around basically, even though all-in-one and an all-in-one will be sewn into the center. And I have gone over the side on some all-in-ones, but in general, because this center section is there, it makes it a lot easier in an all-in-one, whereas these ones, that's where like it's actually quite thin in the gusset if they're movable, is what I'm saying. I hope I'm making sense here. So that's probably my biggest concern with these ones. This one here has all of the same flaws but even less coverage. So these are tiny, and the thing is with here is you don't have any other straps to, like, you can't have, you know, one at this end and one at this end. You have to have both sitting in the middle. And what this means is that you end up with very much this does feel like it has far more lining in it than these ones do, because this is just a shell, whereas this one actually feels a little like it does have a center panel in it, but it just comes through these. So it comes straight through this and onto these, but these are only here. And I mean, this is going to work much better for somebody like me who is a center bleeder, but you're still in a, you know, I still can come up here, so there's nothing protecting you up here. So it wouldn't work if you're a front or a back bleeder, or it wouldn't even work if you're flowing out here as well. So this actually works better because these are around the back to actually keep your flow here. But again, this just seems kind of, yeah, this design I think is far, far worse than these ones, because it just doesn't really function as an appropriate way to do things. And if you have it kind of like this, these are more likely to come out or get, you know, inappropriate tanglement in your underwear. So this is probably the worst design for me out of all of them. In general, though, they are well made. These are, what are they? I've had them since last year. It is now May, probably over a year, maybe. I have to check my unboxing. But, and this is the second lot of them I've had. And, you know, I guess the design of them is probably not the best. And if you are used to all-in-ones, then this is probably not going to work for me as much, but I still have them there. I still will use them if I don't have to go anywhere else or leave the house, because I have accessibility to change, and I don't particularly have to be worried about where everything or leaking or anything like that, because I'll be at home. So it honestly, having cloth pads is such a personal thing that only you can determine if this would work for you or not. The inserts do give you more opportunity to put in there as more suitable to your flow in these like small and medium, which is like an 8-inch, and these are more like 10 inches. So these kind of function far better in this kind of moderate size, I suppose. I'm going to call it the moderate size because you can change the flow. But even when you have one of the inserts in here, it does feel a little bit loose. So it even feels probably more insecure with only one of the inserts rather than two. So take that as you will. I will link my previous review of GladRags. And I'm probably unlikely to get more while this trade situation is happening, but I probably would purchase them in a liner or these sizes. I don't think I'd go for a bigger size again. But thank you for watching. Enjoy your morning, afternoon or evening, depending of course where you are in the day, and I will catch up with you all in the next video. Bye everyone.